Vasily Lomachenko defeats Luke Campbell on a 12-round unanimous points decision. Quite wide scorecards at the end of this fight, but let's get in and let's talk about this fight. This was, although the scorecards were wide, this was a competitive fight through the 12 rounds. When Lomachenko had his moments, they were big moments. But Campbell, you see, Campbell is one of those fighters that Lomachenko would not really have fought since he would turn pro, because Lomachenko's not fought a guy who is a couple of inches taller and has a 5-inch reach advantage on him. And Luke Campbell from the first round used that reach advantage to kind of fiddle with Lomachenko, kind of keep him at bay. And in the first round, you'd have to give it to Luke Campbell. I don't see any other reason why you wouldn't. Okay? And in the second round, it seemed like Loma was kind of understanding, okay, this guy's going to be using his range, he's going to be using his height and reach. So Lomachenko used his footwork, his fantastic footwork, to close the distance. And Luke Campbell was able to kind of, not necessarily counteract it, but was able to kind of figure, okay, when you come in and use your footwork, I'm going to hit you to the body. And Luke Campbell definitely threw some good body shots in there. A punch that I feel he was neglecting was maybe the uppercut, the left uppercut especially. I think if he had really planted his feet and dug down that left uppercut as Lomachenko was coming in, he could have had even more success with that. Now, I watched this fight, full 12 rounds, on the ESPN broadcast, okay? And they had the fight very close. I think going into the 10th round, they had 2 points between the two fighters. That's kind of inclined as to how I saw it. I did myself see it as quite a competitive fight. I wouldn't necessarily say I had it that close in terms of 2 rounds, but Campbell definitely won his fair share of rounds in this fight. When I watched the decision read out, because the stream I was watching, there was a gap of about a minute to the Sky card, so I obviously wanted to see the decision read out live, so I went back onto the Sky feed, and they actually had this fight virtually a shutout for Vasily Lomachenko, which I thought was, a little bit odd, because Sky are very incredibly biased, which they are. Even in fights on the card tonight, I mean, I remember the Povetkin fight. Hughie Fury, I think, got hit with 2 right hands and then kind of pushed Povetkin off, and the first thing Sky said was, "Oh wow, look at the jab Fury landed." So Sky can be very biased towards their own fighters. So I was expecting them to have this fight closer, but no, they had this fight much wider than ESPN did. ESPN call a fight very well. They really go in very technically, which is what I kind of like to hear, and that's why I watched it on ESPN. It was a competitive fight. It was a good fight. Campbell was down. He was down in the 11th round from a body shot, and it did look like at that stage the right was on the wall and that he may not be able to see the 12 rounds out. He was hurt again in the 12th, but naughty. It was kind of naughty. He grabbed Vasily Lomachenko by the leg and kind of threw him over, more or less, onto the canvas. That was kind of naughty. He should have maybe got a point off for that, I feel, because I can understand a fighter holding if they're hurt, but kind of tackling the other fighter like that down, it's a bit, meh. And especially someone like a Lomachenko who's so respected, I was kind of like, you were lucky there you didn't get a point taken off you. There was other stages, I think it was the 6th round as well, where Campbell was hurt, and Lomachenko, again, he really used his feet to good effect, really used them shots to good effect. Straight left hands, right hooks, and then body shots. And Luke Campbell is a very, very good fighter. He's a world level fighter. But you can be a world level fighter. But Vasily Lomachenko is not a world level fighter. He is a extraordinary fighter. Him and Terence Crawford, 1 and 2 pound for pound. I still have Crawford at number 1, but Loma, I mean, what can you say about this guy? He's going to win undisputed at lightweight. Oh, he will. And I've heard talk of Inoue, Bob Arum saying they own you. Inoue would be willing to drop or go up in a couple of weight divisions to fight Lomachenko. As deadly as Inoue looks, he will get absolutely destroyed if he goes anywhere near Vasily Lomachenko. Seriously. Lomachenko is one of those fighters where you wonder who can beat him. You wonder, what will it take to beat this guy? Will it take him going up a way too far where someone is just so much bigger, there's nothing he can do? I think that's the only kind of way around it. Seriously. I mean, the Cormier-Lopez fight that's going to happen whenever, winner of that fight ain't beating Lomachenko, in my opinion. I think Lomachenko is a fantastic fighter. Luke Campbell is a fantastic fighter, and he would be a world champion if Lomachenko wasn't in his weight division. It's unfortunate. Maybe if he moves up, he can maybe see, but Luke Campbell would be a world champion if Vasily Lomachenko wasn't in his weight division. Very good performance from Luke Campbell. As I said, there wasn't really much else he could have done in there, apart from maybe throwing a few more uppercuts, but that's just the kind of nitpick on my end. Fantastic performance from both guys. It was a competitive fight. This is kind of the first real competitive fight I've seen Lomachenko win since he fought Gary Russell Jr. 5 years ago now. So, great performance from both guys. I enjoyed the fight. Hope you liked the video. Hope you liked my kind of breakdown of it. If you did, please leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I will talk to you after.